Alfred Lord Tennyson had said, "'Tis better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all." And it often makes us wonder, what exactly is this love? Is it a feeling, an emotion, a song, poetry, warmth, misery? Is it a person, a thing?
If you go out there on streets and ask people what love means, you'll find a million possible answers. Marriage, the boy next door, secret crush, destruction, me, home, flowers, chocolates, suns and moons and stars and whatnot. Even Siri doesn't have a definitive answer because the question is either a one with a dead end or an open-ended one with infinitesimal possibilities.
Love. Pyar, ishq, mohabbat, prem, premam, sneham, amor, ask in every language is just as confusing and impossible to fathom. So is love a mathematical equation with no solutions? But then why does it leave us with X's and Y's to figure out?
Most nights I sit under the skies and I try to decipher this equation. But I was never that good at maths, or even love, for that matter.
Sometimes love is a chai ki chuski on a rainy evening. Other times it's a room filled with flowers and candles. How the two scenarios compare is for science to figure out. For we just call it love and move on. It's the endless 2 a.m. calls, the string of texts, the person you come back to after a tiring day, an ice cream date or a shared playlist, the awkward first or the painful lasts. Sometimes love is silent nights and quiet whispers. And other times love is fights in the kitchen followed by cuddles. But most times love is lonely nights spent staring at the phone, waiting till your eyes give in and you fall asleep. Most times love is heartaches, pains, disappointments. At least for me it was. So how do you know that you're in love? I thought I fell in love when I was 7 years old to the stupid boy sitting next to me doing my English homework. He looked up to me and said, "You have an eyelash on your cheek, you should make a wish." And I, like a fool, wished for him. And a month later, he switched schools. So then when I was 9, I thought I was in love when I dreamt of getting married to the boy who sat next to me in the school bus. Until one Friday morning, he switched seats with that girl who had curly hair. And then I got a dream divorce. And well, that was about it. Then I was pining after a guy for 4 years or so, whom I conveniently forgot when I had my first boyfriend. And I thought that this is it, this is love. But 4 months later, I found myself saying the same things to yet another boy. So, was it really love? How can you tell? Does love happen when you're 7, 9 or 12? All these fairy tales and love stories that I grew up reading talk about happy endings and forevers. But does love have to be forever? Can forever be just 4 months? Is it still love if there is no happy ending? The 5th time around, I found love blooming under the grey skies when his lips touched mine. The first of many to come. From the corner seats of a movie theatre with sweaty hands and disgusting popcorn-licked fingers. I found love on the stairs in empty classrooms in school. I found love in gifts and tiny cards and surprises, and I thought this would last forever. But apparently, love has an expiration date. It's more of heartbreaks and leftover memories and tears and fears and less of passion and flowers and all that cheesy, gooey stuff. And that's just a facade trying to trick you into falling in love over and over again, for when it comes to love, you never learn. Here I was, 18. I'd already loved and lost more than once. And not just them, but also myself. For all these years of loving others made me love myself lesser and lesser. So is it love if you stop loving yourself while falling in love with them? So how do you know it's love? The idea of love. I met a boy and I really did try. Everyone around me said that there were too many red flags, in fact only red flags. But all the atoms within me screamed out to him, I love you, I love you, I love you. Because you see, love, it looks right beyond these red flags. Love is a spectrum of colors. It turns green in jealousy, blushes in pink. It's filled with white lies and dark days, and sometimes you just have to find out your grey. But when love wounds, it bleeds in crimson, red and blue. I looked away from the red flags because they say that love looks past flaws and mistakes. And it was a beautiful little bubble we had, him and I. It was new, raw, exciting, and 1,000 other words that would still not give justice to how beautiful it was. If you haven't noticed, love is usually more about the little things. The pricky beard scratching my shoulder, the 2 a.m. chais, the blanket fights, the Maggie, the midnight box when it rained, messy rooms, messier us, the black spot at the end of his back, chasing each other in dingy roads, and all his tiny little annoying quirks. And amongst all these tiny little things, I forgot that love has an expiration date. It seemed like forever. And for a moment there, I thought I knew that what was love. Or at least I thought I knew. But then the red flags kicked in, the bubble burst, and everything fell apart. They say love is boundless, yet still, it has an expiration date. Love is supposed to save us, but sometimes love fails. It quits and it runs far, far away, shattering us into a million little pieces with no one to save us. So what is love?
Love is when Ma met Papa when she was 17. 27 years and 2 kids later, they're still the best couple I've ever seen.
It's foolish and crazy and nerve-wracking and serene and pure and magical and breathless. We could sit the entire night, you and I and the dictionary, and come up with thousands of words to describe love. And yet, none of them do justice. Because when it comes to love, words just fall short.
Everyone says sometimes love is all that you need. Yet they also say sometimes love isn't just enough. Love is supposed to make sense, yet everything about it seems senseless. People go ahead and defend it, saying love isn't supposed to make sense. Does this make sense?
Love is a band-aid healing broken hearts, one piece at a time. Ironically, it is also the reason behind broken hearts. Love is just supposed to fit. 2 misfits firing each other in the middle of nowhere, and yet still it makes 2 people push each other as far away as humanly possible.
Can love be toxic? Can it be big or small? Can it be measured? If not, then why do they say too much, mores, or enoughs when it comes to love?
7 billion people in the world, and you fall in love with 1 or 2 or too many. Then how do you figure out which one was true love and which wasn't?
फिर प्यार एक ही बार होता है या बार बार? Can you love someone and also love someone else? Can you fall in love after a heartbreak? What does falling out of love mean? How do you stop loving someone you have loved before? If you can't measure love, then how do you know you love someone a little less or a little more than someone else?
How do we write pages of poetry about love when we have no clue about what it means? Is it in the words or the songs that remind us of them, or in the sweatshirts that still smell of them? Is it that person you see everywhere around you after your 5th glass of vodka when you're alone and miserable? Is it that someone that makes you smile, or is it that someone who makes you cry? Is it that message that still hasn't been read, or the deleted or backspaced messages that you never sent? Is it that person you call at 2 a.m. in the night, or is it that person you call mid-afternoon for no good reason? Is it someone we call home? And if yes, why is that someone never us ourselves? So tell me again, what is love?